Okay, topic life project. What does life project mean to you? A life project to me is a clear vision of the person I want to become and the impact I want to have on the world. It is not only about professional success, but also about personal growth, emotional stability, relationships, health, and contribution to society. I believe a life project gives direction and meaning to everyday decisions. Without it, life can feel confusing, or reactive. With it, every step feels intentional and aligned with long-term goals. Two, why is it important to have a life project? Ha- Having a life project is important because it helps us stay focused and motivated. When we know where we are going, we can make better decisions and avoid distractions. It also helps us overcome difficult moments because we remember the bigger purpose behind our efforts. A life project creates discipline, responsibility, and a sense of identity. It allows us to live conscientiously instead of just surviving day by day. Three, what are your main professional goals? My main professional goals are to become a competent and ethical psychologist, a specialist in areas relate to emotional regulation and neurodivergence, and contribute to community mental health programs. I want to continue studying, possibly pursue a master's degree, and constantly improve my skills. I also aim to create workshops and educational programs that promote mental health awareness in vulnerable populations. For what personal goals do you have? On a personal level, I want to maintain emotional balance, build healthy relationships, and develop strong communication skills. I want to cultivate the discipline in my habits, such as exercising regularly, reading more books, and managing my time effectively. Personal growth for me means becoming more patient, reflective, and resilient in difficult situations. How do you plan to achieve your goals? I plan to achieve my goals by setting short-term and long-term objectives. I believe in planning, but also in flexibility. I will continue learning through course, reading, and practical experience. Networking and building professional relationships will also be important. Additionally, I will work on self-discipline and consciousness because success is not only about talent but about persistence. Six, what challenge might you face in your life project? Some challenge in my face include financial limitations, time management difficulties, and emotional stress. Balancing work and personal life can be demanding. There might also be moments of doubt or fear of failure. However, I believe the challenge are opportunities for growth. Every obstacle can teach resilience, adaptability, and strength. Uh, Seven, how does your family influence your life project? My family influences my life project by providing emotional support and motivation. Their expectations and values have shaped my sense of responsibility and commitment. At the same time, I understand that my life project must reflect my own dreams and decisions. Family support is important, but personal conviction is essential. How do you how do your values shape your future plans? My values such as empathy, integrity, and responsibility guide my decisions. I want my professional and personal life to reflect ethical principles. For example, I believe that helping others and contributing to the community is more meaningful than only pursuing financial success. My values act as a compass when I feel uncertain. Eh, 9. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? I 10 years, I myself as a stable professional with experience in clinical or community psychology. I hope to have developed programs on or initiatives uh, that positively impact people's life. Personally, I see myself emotionally mature, fi- financially stable, and surrounded by meaningful relationships. I also hope to continue learning and evolving. 10. What motivates you to keep working on your life project? What motivates me is the desire to grow, to overcome my limitations, and to make a difference in the life of others. I'm motivated by the idea that my work can reduce suffering and promote well-being. I also feel motivated by personal achievement and the satisfaction of reaching goals that don't seem distant. Okay, The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Between life and death, there is a library, she said, and within that library, the shelf go on forever. Every book provides a chance to try another life you could have lived, to see how things would be if you had made other choices. Would you have done anything different if you had the chance to undo your regrets? Regrets? A conversation about rain. 19 years before she decided to die, Nora sits at in the room of the small library at Heselden's school in the town of Bedford. She stared at chessboard on a low table. Nora there, it's natural to worry about your future, said the librarian. Mr. Earn, her eyes glimmering like sunshine on frost. Mr. Earn made her first move at night hopping over the neat row of white pounds. Of course, you're going to be worried about your exams, but you could be anything you want to be. Nothing of all that possibility. It's exciting. Yes, I suppose it is a whole life in front of you. A whole life. Uh, you could do anything like anywhere. Somewhere a bit less cold and wet. Nora pushed a pound forward to space. It was hard not to compare Mr. N to her mother, who treated Nora like a mistake in need of correction. For instance, when she was a baby, her mother had been so worried Nora's left ear stuck out more than her right, that used sticky tape to address the situation. Then these guys, being it a woolen bonnet. I had the coat I, ha- I hate the cold and wet, added Mr. Earn for emphasis. Mr. Earn had short gray hair and a kind mildly wrinkled oval face sitting well above her turtle green polo neck. She was quite old, but she was also the person most honored on Wayland. In the entry school, and even on days when it wasn't raining, she would spend her afternoon break in the small library. Coolness and wetness don't always go together. Nora told her Antarctica is the driest continent on Earth. Technically, it's a desert. Well, that sums up your street. I don't think it's far enough away. Well, maybe you should be astronaut. Travel the galaxy. Nora smiled. The rain is even worse on the other planets. Worse than Bedfordshire. plannings. Worse than Bedfordshire. On Venus it is poor acid. Mr. Put a paper tissue from her sleeve and delicately blew her nose. See? With a brain like yours, you can't do anything. A blond boy Nora recognized from a couple of years below her, ran past outside the rain-speckled window, either chasing someone or being chased. Since her brother had left, she felt a bit unguarded out there. The library was a little shelter of civilization. That think I be throw everything away now. I've stopped swimming. Well, far be it from me to say, but there is more to this world than swimming really fast. There are many different possibilities ahead of you. Like I said last week, you could be a glaciologist. I've been researching and it was then that the phone rang. 1 minute, said Mr. Ernst softly. I'd better get that. A moment later, Nora watched Mr. Ernst on the phone. Yes, she's here now. The librarian's face fell in shock. She turned away from Nora, but her words were audible across the hushed room. Oh no, no, oh my god, of course. 19 years later, the man at the door. 27 hours before she decided to die, Nora sat to, to die. Nora sat on her dilapidated, dilapidated sofa and scrolling through other people's happy lives, waiting for the something to happen. And then out of nowhere, something actually did. Someone, for whatever peculiar reason, rang her doorbell. She wondered for a moment if she shouldn't get the door at all. She was, after all, already in her night clothes, even though it was only 9 p.m. She felt self-conscious about her oversized echo-worn t-shirt and her tartan pajama bottoms. She put on her slippers to be slightly more civilized and discovered that the person at the door was a man. And once she recognized he was tall and gangly and bush with a kind face, but his eyes were sharp and bright, like they could see through things. It was good to see him, if a little surprising, especially as he was wearing sportswear and he looked at hot and sweet despite the cool, rainy weather. The juxtaposition between that made her feel more slovenly than she had done 5 seconds earlier. But she'd feeling lonely, and though she decided existentially, ex, no existential philosophy to believe loneliness was a fundamental part of being a human in an essentially meaningless universe. It was good to see him. Ash, she said, smiling. It's Ash, isn't it? Yes, it is. What are you doing here? It's good to see you. A few weeks ago, she'd been sat playing her electric piano and had run down Bancroft Avenue and had seen her in the window. Here at 33 uh, and given her a little wave he had once, years ago, asked her out for a coffee. Maybe he was about to do that again. It's good to see you too, he said, but his tense forehead didn't show it. When she'd spoken to him in the shop, he had always sounded breezy, but now his voice contained something heavy. He scratched his brow, made another sound, but didn't quite manage a full word. He only a pointless question. He was clearly out for a run, but the same relieved momentarily to have something trivial to say. Yeah, I'm going to bed for half. It's the Sunday. Oh, right, great. It was thinking of doing a half marathon, and then I remembered I had running. This had sounded funnier in her head than it did as afterwards, being vocalized out of her mouth. She didn't even hate running, but still she was perturbed to see the seriousness of the expression. The silence went beyond outward into something else. You told me you had a cat, he said eventually. Yes, I have a cat. I remember his name, Walter, a ginger tabby. Yeah, I call him Bols. He finds Voltaire a bit pretentious. It turned out he's not massively into 18th century French philosophy and literature. He's quite down to earth, for a cat. Has looked down at her slippers. I'm afraid I think he's dead. What? He's lying very still by the side of the road. I, I saw the name on the collar. I think a car might have hit him. I'm sorry, Nora. She was so scared of her sudden switch in emotion right then that she kept smiling, as if the smile could keep her in the world she had just been in, the one where Balls was alive and where this man she soul gathered some books to have grown and doorbell for another reason. Ash, she remembered, was a Saurian, not a veterinary one, a general human one. If he said something was dead, it was inappropriately dead. I'm so sorry. Nora had a familiar sense of grief. Only certainly stopped her crying. Oh God. She stepped out onto the wet, cracked pavement slab of Bancroft's Avenue, hardly breathing, and saw the poor ginger-furred creature lying on the rain-glossed tarmac beside the car, his head caressed the side of the pavement, and his legs were back as if in mid-gallop, chasing some imaginary bird. Oh, balls! Oh no! Oh God! She knew. She knew she should be expressing pity and despair for her final friend, feeling feeling failing friend, and she was, but she had to acknowledge something else as she stared at Voltaire's still and peaceful expression, that total accents of pain. There was an inescapable feeling brewing in the darkness. Envy.